Hi, gorgeous.
Hi, gorgeous. How are you?
Good. I'm really excited to talk about this
I
because we had an amazing day. Probably one of the best days I've had this year so far when we decided to celebrate your birthday.
It's
And
always a great day when we celebrate my birthday. I usually it is a little bit of the joke with my husband. He's like, "How come you never want to spend your birthday with me? You only ever want to spend your birthday with Kristen." And
because
I
magic
and I do.
happens.
And I spend lots of magical days with him, but there's something for me. I don't know if this is just childlike joy. I don't know if it's the kind of like whimsy and depth we simultaneously get into when we're together, but I crave it around the moment in time of my birthday. Like it always feels like the pool of energy I most want to sit in. Because for me, traditionally I had like a bit of a negative feeling about birthdays. It was um, sort of in my awareness, it was like it was a burden to others, or I would feel pressure around it, or, it wouldn't disappointment expectation. There was just lots of stuff around it. And I have really reclaimed it and really rewritten the story of it. And really, it's been in large because you and I have cultivated that together. You've really helped me to cultivate that. So always around my birthday, I just want to have Kristen time. And we always have, I feel like, really epic things that come out of it.
Magical. Yeah, there's something about giving oneself time for dedicated play and saying, I'm going to play, I'm going to have an adventure, and I'm going to go with my bestie, and we're opening ourselves up to life, we're opening ourselves up to adventure. So, we probably could do a whole podcast on the incredible day that we had at the spa. But
The incredible people we met and all the
yeah,
miracle magic. And, oh, so fun.
but what's interesting is actually giving that space for play and for rest, all these like downloads came in. And I shared with you this idea that had come in maybe a couple weeks before, where I was laying in bed and I literally had one of those moments where I was like, everything affects everything. Like one of those moments where I was like, because we are interconnected, everything we do affects the whole. And I got really excited about this, thinking about, you know, the systems under the trees that affect all the trees, how weather systems affect the whole ecosystem. Like we are interconnected. And so, just like it'll happen in a family, if one person in a family starts to do their healing work, the whole dynamic of the family changes, right? And so, that had me thinking as a creative, whenever I create anything, it goes out into the world and has a ripple effect. Like last night, I went and saw a production of Bear, which I directed 25 years ago. And there's been hundreds of productions all over the world, but it has this incredible story about love and acceptance. And it's been amazing. When I watch these young people do it, I'm like, oh, it's not even mine anymore, it's theirs. And they're getting to experience these lessons and integrate them and emotionally feel them and give them to an audience. Like, how exciting. What hit me was even if you write a poem and five people read it, that affects them somehow. And that creates ripple effect. And then as artists, it's like we're sending out these ripples of how we have been affected, but that affects all of consciousness. So there's this great opportunity, and it's really about power, not in a power over, but in a sense of understanding your own personal power to help create shifts in the world, to help create the world you want to live in.
Yeah. And I really remember when we were having this conversation, what so got activated in me is that there is really a very collective story happening right now that you don't have any power and that you can't do anything to create change, and that those who do have the power are going to do what they want and there's nothing you can do about it. There is a real collective story of powerlessness, and it's a story that is being purposefully told so that we feel that way. right? And so, what I was so activated and excited by inside this conversation is that we underestimate our own power daily. And that's why that story gets in. That's why it seeps in. That the way you talk to your child on their way to school has a ripple effect. The way you care for, making that meal for your friend has a ripple effect. The way you get on the phone with someone who's having a hard time has a ripple effect. The way you smile at the stranger on the subway has a ripple effect. And we are being told that these things are small, impotent, and meaningless, when really these are the building blocks for self initiated presence in the world. That is the change we want to see in the world.
And as we open up to that, I love the question of like, what is it that you want to do through me, life? How do you want to move through me? And I feel like when we give that space and say, I'm ready and available, use my gifts in a way that can be a beneficial presence on the planet, then we start to feel this power that comes from alignment with the all that is, with the whole, with life itself. And life itself, I believe, loves itself and wants us to move to a deeper feeling of wholeness. And I think understanding our connectedness right now is part of the job of birthing this new world. Is what I do matters, what I say matters, the energy I bring matters, and how I show up in my relationships with myself and with others and with the whole matters. And I get to choose that. And there's a way that I can withdraw my attention from the stories of madness in the world, right? I can be aware of them, but as opposed to getting on a mental loop where I despair about the world, I can draw back my attention into my own personal power and say, who I choose to be part of the ripples of love, of compassion, of unity, of justice. Um, and I give permission for that to work through my life.
Yes. And I was really deeply feeling while we were having this conversation, and even as we're having it now, I'm just deeply feeling it's a bar raise, it's a standard raise for myself with myself. Not like the world has to change so that I step up. Like I step up because it's who I am.
Come
Like
on.
my identity is she, is he, is they that lives this way. And I live this way whether the world is crazy or not. I live this way whether you co-sign on it or not. I live this way whether you agree with me or not. I live this way whether love will be withheld from me for living this way or not. It's a standard that I live, that I understand that I am in a collaboration with life. I understand that my soul chose to be here at exactly this time. I understand that I have been given gifts that the world needs. I understand the responsibility of how deeply the world needs it. And I will not drop my standard for what's going on out there. I will
Mm.
maintain this standard of if I'm here to love, I'm going to love. And I'm gonna love where it's hardest to, and I'm gonna love the people that are maybe hardest to, or whatever it is that is my thing. If I'm here to create, if I'm here, to be for this, if I'm here to encourage, whatever it is that I can see is the ripple that I am here to be part of, I vow in declaration and dedication to the fact that life entrusted me with it, that I won't drop it for any chaos outside of me.
I love when you talk about standards and I can like feel them inside of you. This energetic floor of like who I came to be, what I came to do. And it's a self proclamation, right?
And that it's a decision
Hmm.
that no one is gonna give me.
Hmm.
Like, no one is gonna go, "Okay, here you go. Here's the permission to do this now," or, "Okay, the industry is arranging so that you can be that now," or, "Okay, here's the job where now you can bring the gift." It's like I bring the gift and the job, that this gift is needed for arrives, not I wait for the job to arrive, and in the meantime, I hoard the gift away.
That's right. I always feel that way when people ask about like getting reps, agents and managers and such. When you bring your gifts and your talents and keep bringing them in a consistent way, that those resources start to come. But thinking that finding them outside of you is going to give you the thing is always like the cart before the horse.
Yeah,
So there's
yeah,
this way of like, I have this gift. I have this Ferrari in my garage and I'm going to drive it. Right? I'm
yeah,
going to show up and I'm going to give it. So whether it's I'm going to give my gift to speak or I'm going to give my gift for writing, I'm going to give my gift for healing, my gift for acting, for painting, for music. I'm going to show up because I understand the gift and I'm going to give it to the best of my ability and trust whatever resource that the gift itself pulls toward it the resources that it needs. And if those resources aren't here, it's because that's not what this gift needs right now, right? Maybe the gift needs more attunement. Maybe the
yeah,
gift needs to be listened to a little bit more. Maybe the gift needs to be developed. But if I show up and really be with the gift and give the gift with strong intention to be of service to the world, the gift will draw to it what it needs.
yeah, and I think sometimes, I can say this in my own creative process as well. When I'm not attuned to the ripple effect, it's too easy to talk myself out of it
Yeah,
because it's too hard to do. It'll take too long. I can't see the whole staircase. I don't know if I've got the energy for it. Like, there's a million excuses, justifications, reasons not to until you source your why from the ripple effect that I'm not here to only invest in the biggest ripples that have ever been. I'm here to invest in whatever ripple this gift is for. And it's not my job to judge it. It's not my judge to say, well, only 5 people are going to see it. So what's the point? Because you don't know what happens inside the 5 people that see it. And it might be the biggest tidal wave of all.
that's right.
It's not your job to control it, to contort it, or even to make decisions on, well, I want this ripple, not that one. It's really about understanding that the ripple effect is about being courageous enough to self initiate the first ripple and let the
Ooh,
rest of them be whatever they're going to be and go wherever they're going to go.
self initiate the first ripple. And how I do that is I start with where I am today and what's in front of me. What has been given to me to do? What is mine today? And then where am I being called? Where am I being pulled? Where is my vision taking me? Where am I being led? And if we show up with reverence and
Mhm.
humility, right? I think it takes both. Like, whew, there's something happening here, and it is powerful. And I am reverent to the power that is trying to move through me, but also humble that it
Yeah.
is not me. It's not me being out there being fancy, but there is something else that is that has its own intention, that is moving through me and it's transforming me. you know, Part of, I think, giving our gifts in the world is that it sometimes can be really challenging. It sometimes can like kick our ass a little bit. Often breaking our expectations and often rearranging our priorities. So I
Yeah.
do feel like as we show up for this work, yeah, expect it to kick your ass a little bit because it
Yeah,
is
it's not
trying.
wrong when it does. That's
Mm-mm.
kind of part of it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nothing's wrong. You didn't mess up. It will kick your ass because it is transforming you. It is changing you into something else. And
That actually it's
so,
supposed to. That, oh,
mhm,
it's actually it's going right. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
actually, this is the thing that we want. Oh, good. It's really it's stretching my range of capacity. Ooh, it's putting me in a new range of resonance. Ooh, it feels uncomfortable. Oh, I feel in limbo. Oh, I'm having an identity crisis. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what
yeah.
it's supposed to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's doing that. Uh-huh. Yep. All those things, which is why we learn to build up our tools, right? So the reason that learn how to we learn how to breathe, we learn how to meditate, we learn how to take care of ourselves.
How to have
Yeah.
cheerleaders in your corner, how to have supportive allies who are here for your good, and they're here, in the muck with you without any kind of judgment.
Yeah, like even finding teachers that you resonate with, right? All these things we develop because the process of the alchemization of the soul is intense. It's supposed to be. I often say, when I'm working with a writer on a screenplay or a play, is I'll say, oh, it'll do its work on you first, and
Mhm.
then you can release it and it'll do its work on the world. But it doing its work on you, whew, that's not light. We're not talking about, this is not a beach walk. When it does
Yeah,
its work on you, it means it goes to the depth of your core primal wounds, pulls them up and alchemizes them into gold, extracts the wisdom, integrates it into your body. And then once you fully have gone through this process of deep integration, yeah, then it can be of service in the world.
yeah, yeah. That's the process. And I often feel like, when they talk about emotional regulation is the ability to be with the emotion without being completely thrown by the emotion, right? Without being thrown off track or, like changing who you are because of it, something like that. I often think our job is to get into creative regulation with our projects, right? And creative regulation for me is like I'm in creative power and regulation when I am neither swayed by applause or critique.
That's so
It's
good.
like the song isn't written on the stage when everyone's cheering for you. The song's written on like the toilet roll when you're by yourself, sometimes in deep pain or sometimes in a deep
Hmm.
moment of humanity or like the screenplay that's winning the Oscar wasn't written in front of those clapping people,
I
and it
just
also
heard.
wasn't written in front of all the naysayers and the judges that on social media telling you that you can't write. It was written in the sacredness of you being with it. And the reason the creative process often has to be in isolation is because the power position is when you're neither, like, you got your little horse blinders on and you are not moved off your course, off your mission, off your devotion, off what you're here to do as ripple effect into the world by people liking it or not.
Yes, I was just listening to Rufus Wainwright talk about his songwriting process, and he talked about some of his best songs come from this like place of deep, deep pain inside of him, but that it takes a lot in order to go to these places where these songs come from. And he doesn't always know, like, will I ever go back to that place of deep pain again for the song to come? But it's so interesting what you're talking about not being swayed and that creative regulation. I also was wondering if you could share a bit about timelines because
Yeah.
when we were talking about this, you added the timelines to the conversation, and I was like, "Whoo, that's juicy. Give me some
I
more
mean,
of
not
that."
like I feel like I really even know anything about it, but I do understand from some of what I've seen in the world of like other mentors and coaches kind of talking about these ideas in quantum reality, that there are multiple timelines happening at the same time. And also, sort of time is not the construct that we think it is, where in this moment right now, you and I are doing this podcast, and this is the moment in time. And then there's moments that have happened before this and moments that have happened after this. This is a way that we understand time, but that actually inside the continuum of it, past, present, future are all sort of concepts, and we can sort of hold them more loosely than we do. And so when we talk about the ripple effect being something that goes from me out to the world, what we're also talking about is the ripple that comes from me that goes forward in timeline and back in timeline. And that there's real sort of science or understanding. And we all know this, that what I do today, who I'm being today, what I'm embodying today is actively changing the course of my future. It's creating new possibilities. It's writing the future. Who I'm being now today is the power position that completely changes, transforms, makes possible, makes not possible, whatever future I'm building. But we're also now learning that it also goes back. So, what I am being today, what integrity I am living by, what standard I am raising, what I'm being devoted to, what I'm alchemizing, what I'm opening myself to, what I'm healing, not only impacts myself and the future I get to live, it also goes back in time and changes what was lived before I came along. And that feels like, oh, wow, like I want to fall to my knees and cry if I think that who I'm being and what I'm living now is somehow moving and shifting the life lived by my great grandmother
Mhm.
in this moment in time that I shifted in me. It shifts backwards. And I feel that when I first started playing with this idea in my own consciousness, my grandmother had a little girl who passed away from chickenpox. She actually got a really high fever. She was born with chickenpox, got a really high fever, and passed when she was just about 3 weeks old. And then when my mother had me, I had this fever disorder that manifested as seizures that I had through 9 years old. And then when I had my daughter, she started having them as well. And I sort of took on spiritually where we're going to break this pattern. That I see it as a generational pattern, and we're going to crack this code. Like we're going to break this. Um and as we're speaking, like this date that we're speaking on, it's been 1 year, almost 1 year exactly since my daughter's had one. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. And I genuinely believe that work that I have done inside of myself on this timeline has worked on some of those patterns from my grandmother to my mother to me to my daughter. I believe, and perhaps it only works because I believe that it did. Perhaps there are doctors and scientists who would say, Natalie, that's not possible. That totally open to the fact that this could all be a placebo based on my own faith. And yet, the evidence is such that we have changed this pattern. And so when I really get connected to playing with this idea, I know that I had a grandmother who loved to do theater, but didn't really get a chance to do it because she died very young.
Mm.
So there's something I know about every time I'm on set, every time I'm doing an audition tape. There's some way that I bring her for the ride, and that she gets to live it, that she does get to live it. She has always gotten to live it. And so when I think about the ripple being the shoulders I stand on and the shoulders that will stand on me, that it also goes in those directions, then all of a sudden it doesn't feel like pressure to live this integrity. It feels like honor.
Yeah, I know I have shared before that since my dad passed, I feel him living with me. Like he gets to create through me now. He gets to be with me in my adventures. He gets to watch life out of my eyeballs. And I can feel the legion of ancestors with him. That it's not just me doing this work in the world, that they're all with me and they're all working through me. And I do feel that we can't even begin to understand the energetic support that we have for what we came to do, but we can open to it and we can breathe it in and say, I am willing to feel the energetic support that I have through those that came before me, through those that are in my life right now, through all of life, wanting to create beauty and truth through my living. And we can open ourselves up to feel that and walk inside of that energetic field.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have an almost 3-year-old, so this is big in my house. I don't know if any of our listeners would know the Disney movie Moana or Moana number 2, but they are very big in our household. And there is actually a scene in that second Moana film where all of her ancestors are standing around her. And I mean, I am a grown ass woman and I sob like repeatedly when I see this scene. And it's that feeling of they've always been there, they'll always be there. And here they are gathered around her and they're singing to her. And they're basically honoring what she has done with her life that honors them.
Oh, it
And
makes me feel emotional just
It's
hearing about
it's
it.
so freaking beautiful. It's like one of I won't tell you like what happens after that because it's pretty epic, but I really do suggest if you have not watched Moana number 2, you have to watch Moana number 1 first probably to understand, but they are required required watching, and I often laugh thinking, gosh, when I was a child, the Disney movie of choice was like Beauty and the Beast, where a girl like gets held captive by a man and she's like, "Well, I can change him."
I can love you into changing.
Right? And I'm like, "Ooh, but I don't phew, I got some codes from that maybe I didn't need."
Maybe
And
I'm
I'm like
done with.
yeah, and I'm, like, so excited that, like, my daughter's getting, like, these codes of, like, you are not alone, and, like, Moana definitely doesn't have a boyfriend and isn't interested in one, not that that's bad or wrong, but just that she's in a connection with life, nature,
Mhm.
ancestry, mission, and those are primary, and I'm like, "Oh, this is good messaging, Disney. Thank you, thank you." Love it, love
Yeah,
it.
we're gonna have to do a whole podcast on the codes from Disney movies and
Yeah,
like us getting codes from like Ariel who didn't have a voice. Like we'll go into that later.
yeah,
But
yeah.
may you take this podcast with you and feel all of the energetic support of you doing your sacred work in the world and creating ripple effects far in front of you, far behind you, and out into every side. And remember the power of your interconnection and that we can all feel it and grow it together. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for being committed to showing up for your dreams.
If you would like to know more about what we are up to or find more information about our podcasts, upcoming retreats, or anything else, please go check out our website, www.thecreateseries.com.
And you can come and jam with us on Facebook. I know we're still on Facebook. We have a Create community page, and that's Create C.R.E.A.T.E.
And if you want to check us out on Instagram, you can find me, Natalie, at Miss Natalie Roy.
And you can find me at Hangy Love. That's HANGGILOVE.
Keep on rocking your dreams, and we can't wait to connect with you more.